And there we go. So just very quickly, we all know this one, but I will put it out anyway. NIAPRS is a change agent dedicated to improving services, public policies, and social conditions for people with mental health, substance use, and trauma-related challenges by promoting health, wellness, and recovery with full community inclusion so that all may achieve maximum potential in communities of choice. We advocate, educate, demonstrate, and innovate. A large part of what we're doing with mindfulness and meditation is promoting health, wellness, and recovery. Very quickly about me, my name is David Ferentz. I have worked for NIAPRS for several years now. I worked on new choices in recovery, working with consumers on HARP, health homes, and HCBS long ago from 2017 to 2020. Lived as a monk for over 30 years, practicing and teaching meditation. I've done trainings in personal, psychological wellness, spirituality, meditation, gender and sexuality issues, group dynamics, and even financial security. Worked as a counselor to diverse populations. Bachelor of Arts degree from Duquesne University, but trained as a counselor in my time at the monastery by Margaret Picha. I've also worked as a dog trainer, choir director, and bellhop. I do not recommend bellhop as a career choice. It was not the best job I ever had. And my colleague who is presenting with me today is Robert Statham. Rob, if you'd introduce yourself.
Sure. Welcome, everybody. My name's Rob Statham. I'm the Western and Central Region trainer for NIAPRS. And I cover everywhere from Utica all the way over to Buffalo, Jamestown, Binghamton, and all points in between. My experience in the mental health world includes a lot of experiences with supported employment and engagement, successful engagement practices. I also train on the other side, OPWDD as well, and employment. I've done work outside of the field. I was a paralegal assistant right out of college. Went into the hotel motel field as a manager, volunteer coordinator, recruiter. And that last thing is true, former boy band member.
And he was very good, by the way.
Thank you,
I should say that I handle the Hudson Valley and parts of the North Country as well for the work that I do. So our learning objectives, we're going to understand what mindfulness meditation is. We're going to identify research behind the benefits of a mindfulness practice, and we're going to talk about how to talk about that. We're going to identify barriers to engagement with meditation, especially among consumers, and examine how to overcome them. And then we're going to gain knowledge of various meditation modalities with a view to teaching them. This is a cut down version of our full presentation. We'll only be doing 2 meditation modalities. We're going to do guided meditation and body scan as well. So we have here the cartoon. The bone is not the reward. Digging for the bone is the reward. That is one of the essences of meditation. We don't meditate with a goal in mind. The meditation is not to reduce stress. The meditation is not to overcome pain. The meditation is not to do any of those things. The idea of meditation is to enter into it, and whatever can be taken care of will. And we see benefits in all of these areas. But as soon as we start striving for something, we start setting up blocks and barriers as we move forward. So how do we define and talk about meditation with the people we serve? One of the basic definitions of mindfulness is awareness, cultivated by paying attention in a sustained and particular way, and we're going to talk about how that works, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. All right? So, paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. It's a process which involves self-regulation of attention, which involves sustained attention, attention switching, and the inhibition of elaborative processing, which we're going to get into. It's with an orientation of curiosity, openness, and acceptance toward all aspects of the immediate experience, including thoughts, feelings, and sensations. When I work with a person in meditation and the counseling that I do, a lot of times my response to what a person will bring up is, that's very interesting, or that's very curious, or what do you think about that? So a lot of it is to investigate with curiosity what is going on. And I will encourage you today to have this sense of curiosity and openness as we move through this, with how you see things happening for yourself in your own practice and in the practice of the people that you want to work with. You know, one of the things that's also important is for you to have some kind of a practice. It doesn't have to be a deep practice, doesn't have to be extensive, but some experience so that you can share that with the person with whom you're working. All right. Some of the benefits of mindfulness from research, we find that it works well with depression, anxiety, PTSD, because it allows the person to embrace the uncomfortability, chronic pain, being able to make friends with our body, schizophrenia, how to distinguish voices, to understand what is real, what is simply a mental phenomenon, because all of the things, we keep going back to the central nervous system. All of these are mental phenomena, even the experience of real pain and the experience of pain from the past. All of these are mental phenomena. The cravings of addiction, bipolar disorder, the ups and downs of mood swings, and how those work, and how to distinguish and embrace them and be at peace with them. And it's for everyone. I have yet to meet the person who does not encounter mindfulness meditation and has not benefited from it. So we have a short video here with Jon Kabat-Zinn, and I think that he explains a lot of this very well.
It doesn't take long when you start to develop a practice of mindfulness before you realize that we are virtually continually bombarded by thoughts. They're like weather patterns in the mind. There are sometimes nice, clear, sunny days, but there are an awful lot of cloudy days, tumultuous days, rainy days, turbulent, stormy weather. And again, challenge is, how are we to be in relationship to all of that stuff that's driving our lives and our narrative of who I am? And so when you get in touch with what awareness really is, then the first thing you realize is that those thoughts are not me, and they're not mine. They're just like weather patterns. They're impersonal weather patterns in the mind. So then you can observe them like a scientist. Like, what is the nature of this thought? Where does it come from? I mean, and they come like bullets, fired out of a machine gun. They're very, very fast, so to speak. That's quite a militaristic image. But, another way is bubbles coming off the bottom of a pot of boiling water. If you've ever watched a pot of boiling water, say a glass pot, the bubbles tend to nucleate at the bottom, and then they go through the water and they go poof at the surface. So the thoughts are very similar, and that's where I use, and other people often use this term, the thoughts self-liberate. You don't have to get rid of them. People misunderstand meditation as, oh, I just sweep all my thoughts away and then I'm in this like nirvana. What you'll get by trying to sweep all your thoughts away is a headache at the most, because there's no way to sweep your thoughts away. They will get you every time. And then you can have millions of thoughts about mindfulness and meditation, and those are just thoughts too. They're not meditating. But when you see that you're not your thoughts, then you can watch them in this kind of impersonal, more sort of, if you will, observing way, with kindness, with self-compassion, because a lot of them are heavily loaded with negative emotion. And you can see that if you don't touch them, if you don't do anything with them, if you don't get caught in them, they self-liberate naturally. in awareness. The awareness is like touching a soap bubble. You know, it's fun for kids and fun for adults too. Soap bubble, and you touch it and it just goes. So I love that image. So like the thought is the soap bubble, and the emotion too, that's, you know, valencing the thought. And you don't need to do anything with it, because your awareness is like, it's not even a finger, it's not corporeal. The awareness, just the embracing of it or the arising of it, like in the sky, it goes poof all by itself. And don't take my word for it. This is something that when you sit down and you begin to watch, you'll see this is not rocket science. You don't have to sit in a cave for 30 years to have that kind of experience. All you need to do is, in some sense, get out of your own way. Now, I'm not saying that's easy. That's really hard. But if you can have moments when you get out of your own way, then you'll see that a lot of the stuff that we get so caught up in, it's like, it's a mirage. And that doesn't mean that the thoughts aren't valuable. I mean, I think it was Einstein who said, you know, if you have one or two really good thoughts in a lifetime, you're ahead of the curve. Paraphrasing. So most of our thoughts are actually kind of mundane or imprisoning, but thinking is a very, very, I mean, it drives imagination, drives creativity. So maybe we need to just create a bigger arena for our thoughts and watch how they not only self-liberate, but also inform each other in some sense. And then all of a sudden you see something that no one in the history of humanity has seen before. And you apprehend it because you're making something is being revealed to you. I won't say you're making the connection, but somehow a connection gets made, and that's called an insight. And you're gonna have profound insights. I mean, science is, you know, sort of storied, you know, wonderful stories of eureka moments, insight, and it's usually not by driving thinking and banging your head against the wall. It's when you've thought as much as you've gone as far as thought can take you. And then you rest in awareness. Maybe sometimes it's in sleep, or you wake up out of sleep and then, you know.
So our thoughts, where do they belong? We have pleasant and unpleasant thoughts. We have past, we have the future. We tend to dwell in the past a lot, thinking over things. We tend to be anxious about the future. We tend to think feels really good, but when is it going to go away? We tend to think this is really unpleasant. How long is it going to stick around? What we want to do, though, is stay right in the center, not worrying about past and future, not worrying about pleasant or unpleasant, simply to be patient with where we are, to be sitting where we are, and to experience what comes at us. You know, there are a couple concepts I'd like to run through very quickly, because these terms have lots and lots of definitions all over the place. Awareness. We're going to take awareness as the ability to receive and differentiate stimuli. I can tell what one thing is over another. So when I receive stimuli, I can look at what they are. Attention is choosing one stimulus or set of stimuli while ignoring others. Think of yourself in a group, in a party or something like that, and you're hearing all these voices around you, and you're able to focus in on one person, on the person talking with you, or a person farther away, and you're able to pull that out. That is paying attention. Distraction, being involuntarily pulled away from that to which we were paying attention. We're talking with someone and we hear a fire engine outside, and we suddenly find our attention pulled away from where we were talking to the fire engine. And redirecting is just returning to the present moment, non-judgmentally. When we approach it with judgment, when we say, oh, that was stupid of me, or, oh, I wasn't paying attention, that's just another set of thoughts that we're grabbing onto. We don't need to grab onto any of those thoughts at all. All we need to do is come back to where we were, come back to looking at what we were, okay? And very quickly, again, as John Kabat-Zinn said, it's not about ceasing mental activity. There's always something going on in our mental life. The only way you cannot have thoughts is to be knocked unconscious, literally. You have thoughts in your sleep. You have dreams. You have those awarenesses. If you switch over, if you get cold at night, you find yourself waking up to get warm, to pull up the blankets. So we're always getting thoughts and inputs. What a person can do is stop thinking associatively and discursively. That is to say, we can stop telling ourselves stories about those feelings and sensations and thoughts. So I don't have to wake up in the morning and feel like, oh, I feel grumpy. Well, it must be because of what Susan did to me last week. That's why I'm angry. Well, no, I'm just feeling grumpy. Let's just take that. I don't have to tell myself any stories. So Rob, why don't you take us through these talking points concerning mindfulness and the body?
Well, thank you, David. And it's amazing how strongly connected we are in terms of the mind and the body. There's lots of research out there that talks about this. And if you look at the slide here, you're going to see information from the Grossman study, the Bowen study, the Goldberg study, the Wang study, and they all point to a strong correlation between mindfulness and recovery. And I love how Jon Kabat-Zinn kind of really talks about how we spend so little time in the present, and we spend so much time, in our minds in terms of thinking about the past, maybe regrets that we've had, or maybe the future where we're worried about things that never happen. And if we're really focused on the here and now, we are not guided, so to speak, in terms of our past. And obviously, we're not worried about the future. We are really just concerned with the here and now. And when you're in recovery, that is a really important concept to understand. Maybe you've had trauma, and David's going to talk a little bit about trauma and how that affects people who may be practicing mindfulness a little later in the presentation. But maybe, if you've had a certain trauma in the past and it's actually affecting your future, if you're thinking about that, that trauma-related issue that happened to you in your present day, it is impacting your recovery. So I just love how, the idea of really being in this moment, being present at the time can actually help you in your recovery. And all of this research points to this in terms of it being it is based on the healing of the body itself, so to speak. All right, next question or next slide, David. So when we're talking about the mindfulness in the body, we're really talking about it being beneficial for you physically as well. The brain structure, obviously, it's related to 8 changes in the brain regions, which are really just key to this idea of being introspective and aware. Or being aware of your body can actually save your life. A lot of times when we think about our bodies, we're so busy not thinking about our bodies when things are going on in our bodies, and our bodies can tell us things ahead of time, and then we can get to the doctor, whoever we need to go to note things that are happening in our body before they get out of hand. I'm not sure if people are familiar with the book, The Body Keeps the Score. It's a fascinating book that really talks about this idea of the strong correlation between the body and the mind. And so it's really important that we listen to our bodies. We really intently listen, because it actually can be life-saving if we're really listening intently and there may be something going on in the body. Also, this idea of memory consolidation. Again, there's a slide, I don't think it's in this presentation, but we have this slide where we talk about mindful being, our mind being filled with things versus kind of sorting out some of that stuff, and maybe there's less in the mind. And when we have that happen, we have more memory, more room to remember things. Obviously, self-control, because again, if we are focused on what's going on in the past, or what if maybe a traumatic event has happened to us, we are reacting to that. And so that has an impact on our self-control. So any of these in terms of the brain structure is really important. The cardiovascular health we have there's lots of research that has told us that practicing mindfulness is actually good for your heart, good for your breathing, good for your cardiovascular system. It's good for if you want to avoid things like Alzheimer's and things like that. So it's really important, and really there's a strong connection in terms of the research that's out there and your overall health. And then when we talk about immune functioning, we're really talking here on a cellular level. The last bullet there talks about increasing helper cells involved in destroying infection. So we're talking on a cellular level here, and increased telomerase activity promoting the stability of chromosomes and the prevention of the deterioration of those chromosomes. Again, very, very, very important here. Next one, David.
So we can take a look at one of the things about when we look at I'm just going to go back 1 second here. When we look at the brain structure, in one sense, it's like doing exercises. The more we use our brain to worry, the better we become at worrying. The more we use it to stay at peace, the more we'll be able to stay at peace. So when we talk about trauma and how that works, and again, there's a lot more on this in the full training. We have to recognize that one of the challenges is that focused attention on internal experience can lead to feeling of being overwhelmed, distress, and flashbacks. If a person is sitting with mindfulness, and thoughts can come up about abuse, thoughts can come up about the events around PTSD, thoughts can come up around, about person's drug use or alcohol use. All of these things are possible, and they can lead to disorientation, depersonalization, and shame. We have to recognize, though, that meditation is not so much dangerous as it is very powerful. And so one of the things that we want to look at is titrating. How do we introduce a person to this slowly and carefully so that the person is able to take on a little bit more, and a little bit more. Rob brought up the body keeps the score, that we can't recover until we become familiar with and befriend the sensations in our bodies. If we're frightened, we live in a body that's always on guard. This is one of the things around PTSD. Neuroscience shows that the only way we can change the way we feel is by becoming aware of those inner experiences and befriending them, to be able to say, this is part of me and this is okay. I can deal with this. And again, I go back to that concept of exercise, which I think is a really important thing. The 5-pound weight always weighs 5 pounds. The 100-pound weight always weighs 100 pounds. This is an objective truth. It's right there. However, as we exercise, we become more able to lift those weights, more easily because we become stronger. We also become adept at using good form to lifting things. We're not lifting with our back, we're lifting with our legs, for example. So we have those possibilities of moving forward. When a person is dealing with trauma, to encourage the person and to work with the person to strengthen those sides of awareness where one is not elaborating on those feelings, but is able to accept them for what they are and to move forward. Does anybody have anything on what we've talked about? We're about to move in to the practical side of this. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share with us? Either from your own experience or from reading that you've done? Does anybody have anything that they would like to offer?
And David, while while they're waiting in terms of the chat room, one of the things that I like to tell people is, when you go to the gym, when you go to work out in a gym and use the weights, you're not going to come out of there the first session or two big and bulky. It takes time. And I think when you introduce mindfulness to people that maybe have not experienced it before, you introduce it in a way that lets the person know that it's okay if you don't get anything out of it the first time or second time. It's like a muscle. As you kind of related, it takes time to build that muscle up. You're really building the muscle of the brain, and that takes time. And people I think we need to help people understand the expectation, so to speak, is not you are immediately well or immediately have all these benefits to it. It takes time, just like going to a gym at Planet Fitness or something like that.
Yeah, meditation is a skill, and a skill that we build, and it takes time to do this. We're introducing people to it in slow, simple ways, but then we will encourage people to, continue. And as they continue, as they grow in this, they become more skillful, stronger. They are able to hold attention better. They're able to be less distracted. Okay. Don't see any questions or anything from the chat. So look, we're going to move into the practicum. We're going to actually look at two forms of meditation, the guided imagery and the body scan. And there are a couple things that we can talk about with these forms. No one modality is better than another. People find something that works well for them. I've had experience in several different forms of mindfulness and meditation. Some of these include the body scan, guided imagery, meditation on the breath, mantra, using a phrase to focus the mind and to be able to observe the mind. So there is no such thing as one better meditation than the other. It's what will the person do? This is one of the reasons why it's useful for you as practitioners to have some sense of what these various modalities are. You may not be able to connect with them, but you don't know what the person you're serving may be able to do. So, what you want to do is to experience that. All of them lead to being present to the self and to the world around the self. We're able to be more attentive to the world around us and what's going on within, and self-transformation through self-observation. I can change just by seeing what's going on, just by observing the thoughts as they move through. Some general remarks. We're inviting the person into relaxed attentiveness. Best posture, hands, where you put your hands, your alignment, everything, your breathing, all of that is what is comfortable for you. Relaxed attentiveness is the thing. The meditations that we're going to do here run about 5 minutes. So finding a posture which you can hold comfortably for 5 minutes is a useful thing. It doesn't mean necessarily lying down on the floor, doesn't mean sitting up, doesn't mean adopting the full lotus or anything like that. What we want to do is to be calm, relaxed. You can keep your eyes open, somewhat to be able to watch the video or to be aware, keep aware of what's around you. Sometimes closing the eyes is useful. Sometimes closing the eyes lets us get lost in thought. So what works best for you? All right. So those are big things. Some other general remarks as we're working with people: tell, show, do. What are we doing? Show the person a video. The John Kabat-Zinn video is useful. And then to do the meditation, excuse me. There we go. To do the meditation with the person, we define the modality, how it works, and the benefits. And then we can show a video. And the videos will be, when you see these, you'll be able to look at the videos themselves. Ask the person what they think about it. Have a conversation, just as we would if a person were looking at medication. What is useful? What is not? What are side effects that we can look at? What are ways that this can go? For a person going on to medication, for example, we let the person know full effectiveness may not come for a few weeks. The same thing is true with meditation. The full benefit won't come immediately. It'll take time. Share our personal experience with modality. I found this useful. I find this one difficult, or what you get out of it, however that works. Explain that distractions will occur and that we simply return to the meditation itself, walking away from where we were. There are various and sundry methods for doing this. We can actually envision ourselves turning the volume down on the thoughts that are coming up and intruding. Or if there is something outside of us, we can we can retreat further inside or put on the brakes. Talk about that more in the full training. You do the meditation along with the person. This is a great advantage to using a pre-recorded meditation. If you would want to do your own guided meditation, for example, for the person, recording it so that it can be played is often useful so that the two of you can do the meditation together. In the debrief session, share your own experience. And it doesn't, this is remaining boundaried when we do it. For example, I found myself distracted today. There's a lot going on, or I found myself finding myself at ease with it. You know, allowing the person first, because it allows the person to know, gee, what I experience, other people experience as well. We want to provide materials to invite the person to continue the practice on their own. And all the benefits listed in the following exercises are applicable to all of the exercises. There was one other thing I wanted to add to this, and that is that when we share our own experience with the person, and the person knows that what I'm experiencing is what other people experience, it allows that person then to be able to move forward in a way which is more conducive to continuing the practice. And again, it takes time. All right. Rob, do you have anything that you'd like to say here in an aspect of general remarks?
I just want to read one of the quote or one of the chats in the chat box. It's from Cheryl. She says, "It's amazing to me how much in looking back on my recovery, I've actually used the skill with actually not realizing it in the beginning. It was even before I was even doing this, and I built on the skill as time went on."
Great. So, you know, you have that experience. And that is something to be able to share with someone, how it has impacted me and how it's improved my life. My life has gotten better. Okay, great. Glad to hear that. And thank you, Rob, for monitoring the chat. I lost track of it. So we're going to look at guided imagery as our first. It empowers the person to control and direct attention by exploring a mental space. So, you know, to stay with the narrator, to envision what's going on, to engage the senses as we move through, okay? It helps the person realize that experience is conditioned by our mental state. If I am having a bad day, you know, when I find myself relaxing more as I go through the visualization, I can say, okay, I can move away from that. I can redirect my thoughts to something else. And we also then to understand that mental images are as real to the brain and our neuroprocessing as direct sensory experience. This is important for people with PTSD to recognize that, yes, what you're experiencing, that feeling that you have, the reason it feels as real as when you were, say, on the battlefield or in an abusive situation is because this is what the brain is replaying. And to the brain, it's as real as it was the first time. What we're going to do with this is work toward being able to observe that without the concomitant reactions. Other advantages, the person can learn to do their own guided meditation without outside prompts and use it to diffuse stressful situations by taking a short vacation. I've often used this when I'm finding myself overwhelmed, and I go to a very peaceful place. I go to my grandmother's house and I go through that and I smell her cooking and I, you know, taste something that she made, all these types of things that we go through. Okay. So we're going to explore the space one sense at a time, then put it all together, you know, sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, the whole thing. So, and I would appreciate afterward people's own experience with this.
Hi, my name is Amy Morris, and I'm a pediatric psychologist at Chalk Children's. Today, I'm going to offer you a guided imagery strategy that you can use to help to calm your mind and your body during times of stress. Go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. You might find a chair, You might be near a couch, or you might even want to lie down. Let your eyes close or look at something in the room that is calming and still. Begin by taking natural breaths in and out. Notice how the air comes through your nose, hits the back of your throat, and then exits your mouth. By inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, you're helping to expand the air that is getting into your lungs and body, breathing in health and exhaling stress and distress. Let's take another moment to breathe in together and exhale. Slowly letting your breath calm with your body. You see a path off in the distance, a wooded area, and you begin to make your way towards the tall spruce, pine, and fir trees. And as you walk, you notice the softness of the earth beneath you, the smell of fresh earth, and the crunching of the fallen leaves under your feet. And you walk further into the wooded area, noticing the splendor of the trees. There seems to be a sparkle that's hit the ground, and you look up and notice the rays of sun that have come through the canopy of the trees. There's a gentle breeze in the air, one that gives you a sense of relaxation and peace. You take a deep breath in, smelling the earth and the fresh leaves around you. And you continue to walk into the shaded area and notice the sound of water up ahead. You walk up a slight hill and notice a stream coming down from a mountainside. The water runs cool against rocks and small saplings that line its banks. You might choose to sit down on a smooth rock and dip your hand in the water, enjoying the coolness of the water and the support of the rock. As you sit, more relaxed and more refreshed. When you take a deep breath in, fill your lungs with fresh air, feeling supported and at peace in this quiet place that you've found. You look up at the bright blue sky and hear birds flying overhead. No one else is around. It's your place of quiet, your place to restore. And you watch the water as it continues to flow down the stream, ebbs and flows around the rocks. And you continue to take deep breaths in, enjoying this place. When you're ready, you'll stand up, begin to walk down the hill towards the pathway with which you entered. Taking a few more deep breaths of the cool air, smelling the earth, pine, spruce, and fir trees around you, and enjoying this safe place, this place of peace and comfort. And as you leave the forest and enter the path, know that you can come back to this place at any time. It's your place to rest, to restore, and to be refreshed. Now return to your day filled with energy feeling more alert and at peace.
So would anyone like to reflect on their experience of this? One of the things I notice a lot of times when I meditate, and especially in something like a guided meditation, I notice my heartbeat, and my heartbeat invariably slows during that time and becomes entrained with my breath. So there's a general relaxation which occurs. Very relaxing, a little sleepy now. Oh, okay. But that's good, you know? Too relaxing, I'm ready for a nap. Yes. Sometimes, one of the things that happens is that we discover how tired we actually are. How sleep deprived we've been when we find ourselves relaxing a little bit and pulling ourselves away from constant stimulation of the day. So it's often useful to look and to say, maybe to take this as something in the evening to help me rest because it is relaxing, and to allow me to sleep better so that I'm more alert the next day as a possibility as well. Anybody else have anything? Thoughts kept going in and out during the meditation. But I can practice this more. Good. Yes.
David, I usually like close my eyes when I'm in meditation mode, but I had been able to have a sneak peek of the PowerPoint, and I just love the beauty of the video that you showed, and it really put me in that forest. So I thank you for choosing that one.
Yeah, I find myself the rock. I actually used to have a place that I used to go, which was very similar to this, and a specific rock that I like very much. Dorothy says, when I do meditation, I choose ones that have sounds of water. Notice when she had us by the river, there were no sounds. Oh, yeah. The video was beautiful and serene. Yeah, it was just her voice and the vision of it, video. Okay, find it more helpful to have more nature sounds in the background. Well, this is possible. There are other videos that work. I like this one because it gives an introduction to help a person, but there are a lot of them that are, some of them don't even use sound. They're simply not sound, but they don't have a voiceover. They allow you to explore the space yourself. So there are all kinds of possibilities. YouTube is full of meditation videos, full, and many of them are really quite good. All right. So we're going to take a moment now to practice the body scan meditation. Body scan is meditation with the body or part of the body as the attention object. Just as we used a space before, now we're going to use the space of the body. Introducing to the body scan, we can talk about pain and trauma and how meditation can help the person move through them. So the idea is here to let the person know that yes, things may come up, but you can let them go. And to let the person know, of course, if you want to stop, all we have to do is stop. This is really important because person may find that, yeah, this is getting to be too much and pull back, but then later try it again and find they can go farther. Just as building that muscle, again, building the muscle of the brain there. It's a good time to talk about stress responses and fight or flight mechanisms because a lot of times what we experience in meditation is a lowering of the fight or flight, which is what allows some of those overwhelming thoughts to come in. Staying out of fight or flight allows those things to go past us and to be able to talk about that with the person. Aim of the body scan is not to feel anything in particular. We don't want to feel relaxed. We don't want to feel tension. All we want to do is be aware what's happening in the body. Where does tension live? We'll find ourselves relaxing as we go through this. For the whole body scan, invite the person to focus on where anxiety or sadness or depression or moods live in the body. Personally, the neck, shoulders, and jaw, those are big for me. So when I do a body scan, those are places where I sit for a little while and allow those areas to relax as I move forward through this and allow that to happen. So I don't, look for it, but if it's there, the body will then allow itself to relax. Okay. And we let the person, of course, know that they can stop at any time. Okay. We have another before we go. I had to see from Cheryl. I tend to connect in a guided meditation with some place where I can connect the feeling, then with the awareness of the moment I'm in the present, come into connection with myself in the here and now. Yes, that is very much practice. So we'll do a body scan meditation. Again, find yourself in comfortable position, alert, attentiveness, but relaxed.
This exercise is the short version of the body scan mindfulness activity. It can help you become more aware of your present moment sensations and more accepting and in contact with what's going on in your body. This can help with reducing stress and triggering relaxation. So let's begin. Start by bringing attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or just soften your gaze. Notice your body seated wherever you're seated and feel the weight of your body on the chair, on the floor, and notice the chair pressing into you. Take a few deep breaths. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening the body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. Now, notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight and the pressure, the vibration or the heat. Notice your legs against the chair or against the ground. What do they feel like? Do you notice pressure, pulsing, heaviness, lightness? Notice each sensation without judging it as good or bad, but simply as a sensation. Notice your back pressing against the chair. Bring your attention into your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, notice that sensation. Let it soften. Take a breath. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensation going on in your arms. Notice your shoulders. Let them hang down. Let them soften. Notice your neck and your throat. Let them be soft. As you breathe in and breathe out, imagine your breath filling that space in your neck or in your shoulders, allowing those areas to open up, relax, and soften. Soften your jaw. Let your facial muscles be soft. Notice if you're holding tension around your mouth or in your brow. Now notice your whole body present. Take one more breath in and out. Be aware of your whole body as best you can. Take a slow breath. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for joining me on this short body scan activity. I hope you found it helpful. If you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and take care.
Anyone have any thing to present on the body scan, how you felt, what it did for you? Nap time. Okay, Cheryl. Well, again, yes, we don't live in relaxation a lot. So this allows us to be a little more relaxed. Tension in neck and shoulders. Okay, good. Anyone else? I found myself relaxing my jaw again, and working with you here, I'm kind of up. There's always that sense of being prepared for whatever's coming and being able to relax and say, I don't have to worry about anything for this little bit of time. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Vicki. A little more energizing. Yeah. Rob, anything from you on this?
No, I just, I just highlight the importance of recognizing what's going on in your body, just a feeling or even a pain, and acting on it if you notice that it's continuing. And I just think I can't stress enough how important it is to listen.
Yeah, and the other thing that comes, I think, within this is a lot of times people will find themselves shifting position because we a lot of times put ourselves in postures which really are stressful. And one of the things we find with the body scan is, my body actually feels better this way. I can hold this longer this way. And I find that a lot of times I slump when I work, and that puts a lot of tension on the neck and on the torso, and I can't breathe. And I find myself sitting up a little bit more straight, a little taller than I was. Change position. We don't want to change position a lot, so it's good to get ourselves settled, but we will adjust. We will adjust. Okay. Again, the last slide that we have here, that the bone is not the reward, digging for the bone is the reward. Sometimes I notice the tension is like a wave before I finally do relax. Yeah, that goes through the body and we feel it. Just that sense of what happens in the body. What happens in the body? What do we feel? All of this, again, connected with the central nervous system. Where is pain? Where is fear? Where is all of that stuff going? So we want to be able to relax. We want to, recognize that there wasn't anything we were trying to do here. All we were doing was being with the body, befriending the body, noticing, just being attentive to it and allowing it to go. We have a number of video resources here, benefits of mindfulness, and all of these are live links that you can go to, and lots of video resources, and then print resources of various sorts that are also useful. So we encourage you to take a look at some of these. There's an awful lot there's an awful lot of research that's gone into meditation and into mindfulness. And we have a quick thing here on Vipassana, on meditation on the breath at the very end as well. So body scan and Vipassana, so that you can take a look at that. Yes, Dorothy, this is it's a deceptive practice. When I first did this, I was wondering, how will this work with a 2-hour training? And in the 2-hour training, we do a lot more on theory, and then we do 4 meditation modalities, and it does go quickly. It does go quickly.
And David, I do believe that the PowerPoint will be up on the NIAPRIS website.
Yep.
So people can grab those resources right from the PowerPoint that's on the website.
Okay. So again, it's been an honor to be able to work with all of you and let people know about this, talk it up, because it is a great training and it's a good tool to have in your toolbox as you move forward with people. I wish you an excellent day as you move forward into it, and I hope that this has been a good part of it.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.